either Spring or Benner townships. The company says after further review and additional testing, it decided not to proceed with the well and is looking for other spots to build here in Center County. Trial continues today for the two people accused of murdering Penn State University professor Ronald Bettig 2 years ago in 2016. Prosecutors say George Ishler and Daniel Geyer were taking advantage of Bettig. He was in deteriorating mental and physical health, and prosecutors say they lured him to a quarry, pushed him off a ledge there, and that's where Bettig fell to his death. Prosecutors say the two believed they would benefit and profit from Bettig's recently written will. You're up to date from the Bobby Rahal Honda of StateCollege.com newsroom. I'm Susan King on WBLF. Depend on it.
Radio matters.
Radio matters.
Radio matters. Radio matters.
Radio matters because it works.
It's a very effective medium that can help drive consideration and awareness for our clients.
Radio matters because it naturally honors the imagination of the audience.
For more information on how radio can work for your business, contact the Magnum Broadcasting Sales Department at 814-272-1320. Find out, like so many others, that radio matters.
You feel petrified. You're struggling with your mortgage payments. Not knowing what to do, you do nothing. But if you do something, you're far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making Home Affordable is a free government program. Call 888-995-HOPE to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about your options. Call 888-995-HOPE or visit makinghomeaffordable.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Treasury, HUD, and the Ad Council.
Your weather forecast from Ace Hardware of State College next to Weiss Market and the Hills Plaza South. Ace, the helpful place. That's Ace Hardware of State College next to Weiss Supermarket and the Hills Plaza South.
This is meteorologist Joe Murgo with your forecast for WBLF. Sunshine will mix with clouds today. It won't be quite as chilly this afternoon, high 56. Becoming rather cloudy tonight. Showers will develop, low 45. Windy and chilly tomorrow. Rain showers will mix with snowflakes as temperatures drop through the 40s. From WTAJ, your weather authority, I'm Joe Murgo for News Talk 970 AM and 106.3 FM WBLF.
The all-new WBLF AM and FM, now at 106.3 FM.
This is your total information source, The Mike Gallagher Show. We keep you connected to the headlines like no one else, featuring the biggest newsmakers and news breakers.
You've been great, Mike, and I appreciate it very much. You notice I walked over here very quickly.
What I would say to your millions of listeners all over the country is now is the time to let your voice be heard.
And now, in the ReliefFactor.com studios, here is Mike Gallagher.
And we'll be sitting out with some Mike Gallagher folks. You're talking to Skip Roberts here. Live, and we'll kick it off here right now.
6 days.
Hey, friends, welcome to Lions Live on the Forever Lions Network. It's that time of year again, folks. Spring ball around. My name's Skip Robles, along with the big dude.
Hey, Bennett.
We got Jimmy Kennedy with us, the Grizz, and big dude Stephen Davis, and a special guest on here tonight. And I think even Dan the Fan will be joining us. We got lots to talk about here. So much has been happening and what's been going on since our last get together here, wrapping up the season. So great, man. I'll tell you, time just goes by so fast, gentlemen. I don't even know where to start this with tonight because we have the movie to talk about. We got spring football to talk about. I'm sure Brandon's going to be on here. He's looking to be a trustee. We have to get out vote for him, and I think Dan the Fan's got some exciting things going on too. So, where do we want to run?
It's just we want to make sure that we still hear the news in the background now.
Yeah. Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, we're going to touch on it all, guys. So. I think Yakov has been out there. Let's get Yakov on here, Yakov Israel, folks. And he's got a special guest here for us, an NFL great and former Penn State Nittany Lion. Go ahead and take it away, Yakov.
Hey, hold on one second, Yakov. Just 1 second. We hear the news plan with you.
Oh, yeah.
We got to get rid of that news so we can have a quality conversation.
How about now? Is that better yet? Cool. I didn't know you guys were catching that in the background there. Technical things, folks. I don't think the people on the radio or on streaming were catching it, but I did see the one button up here, even though it was not hot. So apologize about the noise in the background, guys. But
we're good, man.
We're all good. So Yakov, kick it off for us, brother.
Hey, we ready? We got everybody?
We got everybody.
Let's go. Oh, wonderful. Well, hey, it is much a privilege to announce to everybody our special guest, Letterman, one of the greats of Penn State football. We have Brandon Short on the line. Was a teammate of mine in '99 and very much a role model and looked up to. Watched him growing up in high school from I know from the McKeesport area. He's campaigning right now and for the Penn State board of trustees. So we would like to welcome him and hear some of his thoughts, hear some of the things he's got to say, hear some of his plans, and talk some Penn State football. So Brandon, welcome.
And Yakov, I'm not catching him. Is he on with us?
Let me see. He might not be on. He said, yeah, well, he just in the line says, yeah, he said, I'm on. Nobody on the line.
Uh-oh. Make sure he's dialing the right number on our conference call.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, I got the same number. Let me see.
Okay.
So maybe we'll have to maybe go with Dan the Fan and start maybe. Hold on. Yeah, we'll have to. See, we'll come back to him then. See what's going on.
Sure. Well, Yakov and I were up at practice here the other week, and I was out Saturday, and the team's looking pretty good here. Of course, we got to see the real live action. Saturday is going to be a nice show for everybody else, but we got to see some good practices out here early in the season, and that's always a lot of fun. And that's always good to go. And I think Jimmy's probably been on the phone and texting and chatting everybody on the team late, along with the coaches. And of course, I catch him on Facebook Live every now and again, living large out in LA.
Gotta enjoy that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So how the boys looking so far? I know you wasn't able to take pictures or anything like that. How's it looking?
It's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be I think the receiving core is going to need to step up to what we had from before, because I think the receivers made McSorley look to be a good quarterback. Accuracy is an important thing, and I think he's getting a little bit better at that. But of course, the receivers are what makes they're what makes the quarterback look good, as you all know. Line's looking pretty good, so it'll be interesting to see who steps up to the running back position, but. We'll all see how that plays out here and things coming about the fall. Got to see the kicking game coming around, and that's when I got to talk to Carson a little bit, and he's working hard. So it'll be a good season coming up. I think we're going to be challenged this year for sure. I know it'll come down to us in Ohio State. It's probably going to be a tough season this year, and of course we're done.
You still got Ohio State ranked that high?
Well, I think they're going to be, we'll have to get our picks. I'm not ready for that yet. I didn't get to review their spring ball. So, but again, it's probably going to be like ours. They don't necessarily reveal everything that's happening in the spring. So we'll as the season gets close, we'll have to do some more digging deep into doing some research, and we'll put together our picks this year. We'll track them again.
Okay. I still like it, Penn State. I like everyone we have returning. I just want to know what we're going to do probably at the running back spot. Like you said, a couple of receivers. I still like the guys that we have coming back.
Sure.
Seems like a bunch of guys working hard and so on. Like you said, I text with a few guys here and there. So I think I like our depth at defensive line. That should be a strong point for us this year. But overall, I think we got a lot of guys that's coming back. I mean, we lose Kabinda at linebacker. So I don't think that'll hurt us because of all the injuries that we've had in the past. And we have a lot of young guys with playing time and so on. So now it's just about them actually having a starting role. And, when you have the starting role, and you're able to go out there and just execute and show your God-given talent, a confidence comes with that. So like I said, when guys was injured and so we had a great rotation, but then we also had a lot of guys step up because of injuries. So I think we should be fine this year. I like us right now to win the Big Ten, given the situation, given Ohio State losing their big time quarterback and so on, the players that they lost, that they'll lose in this upcoming draft and so on. And obviously we all sitting back waiting for the next 8 days or so on to see where Saquon and the rest of our guys go. So overall, focus on just Penn State football right now. I'm excited to see what this upcoming season has to bring.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be an interesting season, to say the least. It's going to be a challenge for sure. The schedule's kind of all mixed up from what we're used to, where the regular rotation of teams were in the Big Ten that we play. So that's going to make a difference in how the teams prepare too. So for sure, it's going to be a great season of football. The one thing I miss more than anything else still is, and I'll say it again, I love seeing a quarterback get under center and get our guys up there and just pound that ball right up the middle. But we don't see too much of that anymore, but we'll see how it plays out this year with who steps up to the running back role. I know we're all going to miss Saquon. He's a great athlete, and we wish him all the best here coming up in the draft. And 1, 2, or 3, that's where he'll be. It's just a matter of who gets him when. So good for him. Special blessings to him.
You'd be surprised, though. I think he'll be fine as long as he's in the top 10. So great.
Sure.
Hey guys, you got Brandon Short here. Oh wait.
Hey, glad
you're Short. Who's all on the line? Hey, Grizz, let me let Grizz go ahead and you I gave you the first intro fee, Short, but I gave you the wrong number. That was my bad, everybody. That was my bad. So Grizz, I need you to pick it up for me, Grizz. Help me out. What's up? It's an honor to have our captain, our leader, the linebacker, the mentor. The guy was just an all-around great person, a great man, a great football player. He has morals. He's just a great individual. So he's campaigning right now for the board of trustees. I was proud to put in my vote already for him, and I just wanted to introduce you to our great middle linebacker, the true number 43, Brandon Short. All right. Thanks for having me on the show, man, and I really appreciate that vote, man. We got to encourage as many people to vote and be a part of the process as possible, man. We have 650,000 eligible voters, and less than 5% vote.
Wow.
And at first, that seems like a negative, man. Where the very low voter turnout, but what it means is that each individual vote counts. Everyone matters, and you can swing the election just by getting 5 additional people to come out and vote. So if you, Cole, every Penn Stater at the sound of my voice registers, ask for a ballot. You can go to my website at bshort4psu.com, get a ballot, and vote, and ask 5 other people to vote. And we can quadruple turnout, and we can help change the shape of the university.
Brandon, that sounds great. This is Skip Robelvis here. I'm in State College here tonight. I'm the guy pushing the buttons here. If something technically doesn't work, it's my fault. But you blame your code for that phone there, because I just texted that to him before the show. So, but Brandon, you are definitely qualified for this position. Apart from playing football here, you pursue excellence in everything you do. You got your MBA, and you're with Goldman Sachs. So sound financial background, solid background all around with who you are and what you bring to the table as a trustee. So I really can't see how anybody could go wrong for not voting for you. And of course, us guys who were part of the program, naturally, we're all behind you because, we understand that as much as people don't like the idea that, football does bring in a lot of revenue for Penn State, and having somebody with a sound financial background like yourself coming through Coach Paterno and everybody and the values and things we all learned there, you're obviously going to be an outstanding person doing the right things, continuing on that fine tradition here at Penn State.
Yeah, but I appreciate the kind words, and some of the key issues that I want to run on. I've heard a lot of issues out there about accountability. I've heard the use of technology to offer better classes, better experience to our students. But the number one issue is affordability.
Yes.
I've talked to alumni across the country, and everyone has a view, but there's no question that the cost to attend Penn State is quite frankly out of control. If you live outside the state of Pennsylvania, it costs $51,000 a year to send your kid to Penn State. So that means I'm in Maryland right now, and if my in-laws want their family members to come to Penn State, they're going to have $200,000 in debt when they leave. That's a cumbersome debt burden that's going to prevent them from doing something entrepreneurial, from taking a chance to go out and change the community, have a positive impact on the community, a way that we know how to do at Penn State. And in addition to that, I believe that as a state university, we have a responsibility to provide upward mobility for at least the citizens of the state of Pennsylvania. I came from a very tough background, and was raised by my grandmother. My mom passed away. My father was in and out of jail. The Penn State experience sort of was transformational for me. So playing under Joe, a place where he cared more about our development as men and as students than he did as athletes. And coming to Penn State and getting a world-class education and being a part of a community that would sort of support and nurture me for the rest of my life. So I'm running for Penn State's board to make Penn State a better place because Penn State made me better.
Well, that's well said, Brandon. And I personally, and actually, Steph and I, we have teammates who have children going to Penn State, and these, I don't know how they do it. I mean, these families are strapped coming here, and they're out-of-state families, and they're strapped. These families get strapped coming here to Penn State, and it doesn't have to be this way. But I growing up here at State College, it was pretty easy for me. But these other families, even in Pennsylvania, and out of state especially, have a difficult time coming to state. And I'll speak of this as a veteran. I talk to veterans. I spent 10 years in the military myself. A lot of veterans would love to come to Penn State, but they can't afford to do it. And that's a shame. It shouldn't be that way. As a state university, I'll give you an example. The National Guard had a college 100% tuition for state schools. Well, Penn State didn't qualify for that, even though they call it the state university, because they couldn't afford to do it because Penn State's tuition was higher than all the other state schools, and they refused to pay it. So it kind of rubs me the wrong way as a veteran, because I think Penn State wants to get the pat in the back saying they do things for veterans, but really they don't. They kind of exploit veterans whenever they have the game up here, because Penn State doesn't give away the tickets. They expect the fans to buy them all the tickets. So Penn State's just trying to make sure they get all the money and they get paid in full for that day, so all the tickets are sold, and they don't give anything away because the food doesn't come out. That Walmart donates $50,000 plus bucks. Everybody else donates their time to try to help. But Penn State wants the accolades of helping veterans, but they don't do it because of things like this with tuition. I know you will make a difference, not just for veterans, but I think for everybody. And really what it comes down to is we need to streamline the way we do business. There's people probably overpaid and underworked at Penn State, and we need to kind of trim the fat off of this thing and get this animal running mean and lean again, so that way things can be affordable for people.
Yeah, there are numerous ways that we can attack this problem. The University of Illinois, the universities around the country are coming up with innovative ways to sort of reduce costs and keep tuition stable or even reduce tuition. One of the ways that we can do that is trying to get the students out in 3.5 years versus 4 years.
and that would dramatically reduce the cost. And we can do that through having more online classes, or we can do that through having reality-based learning where we can give students credits for internships, going out getting real-life work experience and give them credits, towards their major to help shrink the amount of time that it takes to graduate. We can also do sort of economies of scale. Penn State is a $5.7 billion a year business. Wow. It makes it one of the largest businesses in the state of Pennsylvania. The University of Purdue is going out to Amazon and negotiated a 30% discount on all their books they buy because they buy in bulk. There's areas within our budget where we can use our scale to put downward pressure on pricing and pass that cost savings on to our students. And another point too is being in corporate and being a global financier. That I believe that you have the best outcome when you have the interest of the people that are running an organization aligned with the key stakeholders, and that's not happening right now at Penn State. The key stakeholders in the university are the alumni, the state of Pennsylvania, and the students who are future alumni. And the control of the board of trustees now sits with 15 people who are self-appointed, which are really about 2 people who appoint all their friends and run a $5.7 billion business.
Right. Well, it makes for a little bit of a what's the word for it? Cronyism, nepotism, and taking care of your friends, right?
Those people sort of have bad intentions, but it's a lack of diversity of ideas, of thought.
Well, yes, it comes down to ideals. I mean, what are the ideals? What's the core background of these people? Do they really believe in conservative values? Do they really think that reducing the size and scope of Penn State in costs and expenses is good? Are they frugally minded, or do they think, hey, you know what? The money's easy come, easy go. So let's give our friends, family, neighbors a job and make sure they got good pensions, benefits, and look, they're going to keep coming. They're still going to keep coming. So the money's there. We don't run our homes that way. The problem is nobody treats this money like it's coming out of their own pocket. So when they start, taking, sorry. That's okay. I was just saying, when they start treating this like it's coming out of their own pocket and they develop that type of a core mentality, I think you'll see that type of a positive change. But if it's easy come, easy go, then it's just like our federal government. It's no different from them. They just, hey, we'll just create a tax for this or a tax for that, and we'll get the money that way. And that's not the way to think. We need to think about ways to streamline, like you talked about, and becoming more efficient and wise with good stewards of what we have. Plus all the endowment money. What about the endowment money? Why isn't any of that going towards try to fix some of these things? You got a lot. You got a challenge in front of you, brother, and I look forward to you taking it on. And go ahead, Stephen.
Oh, well, listen, first of all, Brandon, Stephen Davis, I don't believe we've ever met. Nice talking to you and being on. In fact, I'm sitting in my office as we speak, and I work in higher education administration. I've been here for 27 years, and you did get my vote as well. So I appreciate you and you representing interest and listening to this conversation. It's great because it makes me feel good about the job I'm trying to do, and working on behalf of the Board of Trustees. We have to be able to be on the fiduciary level, especially when you win. And then, let the managers manage. But on the other hand, like you said, trying to find out, I guess the first big thing is, it's not really just even about Penn State at all. While I've been in this particular game, the 27 years I've been in higher education, the difficult part is trying to renew, I think stickers are leading to this, trying to renew the confidence of the public back in higher education altogether. Renew the confidence, renew the ideals and its values and what you're supposed to get out of it. And then, as many of us were, very fortunate to move on for other careers, now we have a global economy that is very globally competitive. So there's a lot more work to do, and I know in Dallasville, like you said, it's really about how people are applying it. And we have to start looking at, again, where are our values. The football program needs assistance. How big would it be if we had some individuals that could get these internships that Brandon talked about in Goldman Sachs, and how someone else can help a university run. I never thought I would do that, but all those particular values coming together, all of us trying to also represent the interests of people at every level is very difficult. It's difficult at every level because what was that? It's difficult. Okay, it's difficult at every level. Almost lost my train of thought because the needs of the students continue to change. What they want, what the parents want, and what the parents think is supposed to happen. So I think that's the biggest thing about when we start talking about the branding of Penn State. Branding is going to be important, but it's going to go so far. And unfortunately, all the business things that you're all talking about in terms of increasing enrollment law is, every student there is a financial unit. And it's going to be not just going to be about who we get to recruit and who we get to bring in, but who we retain and who are the people we start talking about that are in debt. We start talking about loan indebtedness. And again, in this country, it's affected a great amount of people, especially individuals of color, like being specific. Individuals of color, low-income African-American students have the highest indebtedness in the United States in general. So what we're looking at is something that's systemic that's way beyond Penn State. The question is going to be, can we set an example to help reduce that loan indebtedness, and what is it that we do, and how do we renew the value and the confidence back in higher education, more than what it is that we know, but then the future of it, of our children, of our grandchildren. Why are people going to really come to Penn State? If I am from Coolopolis, or if I'm from Camden, New Jersey, or if I'm from anywhere else, New York, the Bronx, why would I go to Penn State? And I think these are going to be the questions about, Penn State has a brand, but is Penn State inclusive enough with its brand? I found out so far that it still is. We're starting to see still who it is we see represented, even commercials, marketing. We have to do a whole lot more to show that we are inclusive in terms of our mission, more so than what it was. Now, I went to Penn State. They had a drive for Penn State to increase minority students. Believe it or not, the station Power 99 in Philadelphia, there were actually Penn State applications there. So people were trying all kinds of other ways and backdoor ways to do things. But, and I would say, Brandon, is that, take a look at what challenge that we're going to have. Who is the person that is not letting Penn State be inclusive? And you would, of course, when you get to the boardroom, you're going to see what that's going to do, is trying to change the minds of some of those other individuals that think things should continue to be the same, and we should be honored to do that. And I am honored to be in alone because of individuals that we have over there. I would think, for sure, though, that we would take a look at what the future is going to be, not just about Penn State. How do we set the example for the Big Ten and for everyone else to look at loan indebtedness and to start to take a look at how folks, especially low-income people, when you did mention your background, so many people are fortunate to leave a situation in the low income and get a good job. And then some folks finish, and they finish with $130,000 in debt, and you get a job that's not going to pay a whole lot. That situation will continue to be a perpetual situation for you financially, and you won't get a chance to improve the quality of your life. So I think Penn State has to think much bigger, and that's what I expect. And giving you the vote, and I hope that you represent that in the boardroom. That we represent, we go to a national chairman, individuals like myself, that this is part of my job. But how do we set the example of Penn State to show people how to do it correctly?
At a national level, during the Penn State, the state of Pennsylvania has sort of one of the highest public school tuitions in the country. Wow. So just a little history. In 2008, during the crisis, states had budget shortfalls, and they looked for ways to bridge that gap. So they stopped. They reduced funding to secondary and tertiary education, which is 4-year schools. And when the economy recovered, they didn't reallocate those funds to the schools. So you have big gaps in sort of what the state, the support that the schools were receiving from the state. And at the time, as you mentioned, it is a global economy where you have demand from foreign students who are willing to come in and pay a premium to go to U.S. schools. So it's $51,000 a year total with tuition and with room and board and books, but they could charge $71 and they still enrollment wouldn't go down because of global demand. So there are real challenges. So right now, in nationally, the most expensive public school is Pitt. The third most expensive public school for in-state tuition is Penn State. So it's the state of Pennsylvania, that has really sort of cut back dramatically. So the university's under that pressure, but that we have to stop the bleeding. When I say, look, when your house is on fire, right? You put the fire out, and then you figure out who started the fire. We have to at least freeze tuition until we can figure out how to solve this problem long term. And one of the things that I picked up from working in a business is that management's incentives need to be aligned with ours. So if the board really feels like tuition and cost is a real issue, they would tie Barron and the provost and all the senior management bonus to decreases in cost, or at least keeping it below inflation. So Barron's salary is about $800,000, and then he gets a $200,000 bonus. He got a $200,000 bonus last year.
What was that for? Enrollment? What was that for? Was that for enrollment goals? What was the performance issue with that?
I don't have the answer to that question, but if elected to the board, I will find out and come back to you. I'm saying that answer should be it should be tied to keeping tuition and cost under control. So if I'm on a board of Apple or a board of a public company, which I've advised public boards, you set out what the CEO and senior management objectives are, and you give them a bonus based upon achieving those objectives. This needs to be one of the objectives, and so that we know that we're taking it seriously.
Right, and also you let them know that if you don't reach that after so much time, you go away.
Right,
that has to happen too. That doesn't happen.
You're absolutely right. And retention. Let me just say this: retention is even more important because guess what? It costs you a lot less to keep students than it is to recruit. Okay, because when you start looking at units and how much you lose, so if it's $51,000 a year, and we're losing $1,000. Again, you guys do some quick math. I'm not real good at it, but that's a lot of money. Right? That's how much money that's the part that people aren't looking at. And again, not to continue to belabor the point of students of color, because we have to make sure the opportunities are together, that the support systems, original management's got to be in the same point. As I said, we go through football, we had things that other people didn't have. Now, the question is, if we didn't play football, how would we feel we're supported? What would our transition would be like? Many people haven't thought about this. So what I'm saying is, for now and in the future, how will we keep these students? These students that we're getting, even if we blitz Philadelphia and every other inner city, how do we keep these students? And guess what? There is a financial reality as well. When you lose students, anything you gain in enrollment, when you lose students, it just about levels up. That's the part that people aren't thinking about, especially beyond, when we talk about internships, which is important. Internships and having a goal early, beyond that second year is when people start losing students. That's what we start to find out in higher education. Basically because we don't have the goals of Goldman Sachs and all those other things if you're not exposed to it and you don't have the right career path and anything else has to do with anything else that's going on. Mental health. Mental health is very big, and we got to get our folks to go to counseling and do a whole number of things to get through some of the things. We don't have, a lot of other people don't have coaches, don't have their position coaches and other people that feel good with. So I think this picture continues to get bigger and bigger, and I'm hoping Penn State, like I said, when you do win, that will definitely set the road straight, man, because I'm very excited about the anticipated leadership. I'm very excited about it.
We have a long way to go, Penn State. As of today, if I am fortunate enough to win, I would be the only African American on Penn State's board. I would be the youngest member of the board, less the student representative. So 11 is truly sort of a place where I don't believe that there's necessarily bad intentions, but it's just groupthink and thinking things absolutely always been done that they can't change. And I'm going to do my best to be the voice of the young. But
yeah, let me jump in here real quick. I just wanted to thank you again, Brandon. For all of the things you're doing, and just to be a teammate of yours, and just to see all the things you've accomplished. Following you and watching the things with Goldman Sachs and overseas and families and all those great things. And I just look forward to supporting and voting. And I know you got an event coming up Friday. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I know it's a couple guys. You guys are downtown somewhere. So can you maybe tell us about your event coming up?
Well, I have a series of events. I have an event tomorrow night in Washington, D.C. at City Tap House in DuPont. Then, I'm coming up for Blue White Weekend and, meeting with a bunch of people up there. Speaking at Lee Rubin's scholarship breakfast. He's a letterman that has set up a scholarship for low income and underprivileged kids. I'll be at Sue Paterno's Special Olympics event. Following Blue White Weekend, I'm having an event in Pittsburgh at Bettis's, where Franco Harris will be attending the event along with Aaron Bernstein. He's a state representative who's put some legislation out that would shrink board size and increase accountability. I have an event in Philadelphia. In Harrisburg on the 24th, Philadelphia on the 25th, and then New York on the 27th. So I have a series of events, and I'm just focusing on the Northeast, but I've talked to Penn State alumni from all over the country, from California and Nevada, Washington State, just so that I could be more in a better position to understand what the alumni truly want, what their key concerns are, so that I can best advocate for those concerns if I'm fortunate enough to be elected.
Well, Brandon, I personally hope you make it. This is Skip again here. And I've lived here at State College all my life. I have a place in Georgia, but most of my time's here. And I got to know a lot of different people in a lot of different types of positions at Penn State. And I look forward to seeing a gentleman like yourself being able to come in there, because I know you're the type of guy who wants to hear from everybody, who wants to be able to get the overall bigger picture, so you can know what's going on in different places, to know how to try to, as Stefan talked about, you got to fix this thing, because it's right now it's headed towards a cliff, and where it's gone, it's not going to be good. I don't know if the numbers are the same, because I worked in education years ago at DeVry University and as an advisor, and the numbers were that half the kids that start school never finish. And that's even a bigger tragedy yet, because it's like you said, Stefan, guys come in, you're better off keeping these kids here in school because it costs money. They're putting money out to get kids to come. Now, I worked for a company that it was pay to play. It wasn't, it wasn't a state-run school. That this DeVry University is a for-profit education, so they have to produce. So the things that they tried to do that made them more efficient were showing the statistics of the average salaries of their students who graduate and comparing that to other schools. Well, they had to perform, and I'm hoping things like that type of performance type of based quality education we can get back to. Some people can say, well, look at the average starting salary of these students graduating here at Penn State in this major, and this major, and this major. That type of quality and pursuit of excellence will once again come back here to Penn State. And the problem is, again, I think it's the thing of they run it like the government, and the people in the government, they just don't have that heart in it. And I know you do. And I really know you're going to make a positive difference, and I look forward to reading how your name's going to be in the paper here as a winner to this. We're not assuming that, but we want to let everybody know for sure. that to get out and get their vote in for you, because we look forward to being able to see you make that type of positive change here at Penn State.
I really appreciate the kind words, and it's just so important that people be a part of the process. There's so many people that I talk to that aren't aware that they're eligible to vote, aren't even aware that a vote is happening, that want to participate and want to be a part of the process, but they're just not aware. You know, a key issue is that the board doesn't allow the alumni associations to endorse candidates. So, or the alumni association chapters to really even be involved in the election process. In my view, that's an attempt to keep people from being a part of the process. If you're voting to be alumni representative, you know, how can you not engage the alumni on social media or engage the alumni directly? You know, and how can you have the university that's creating an obstacle to doing that? You know, I have name recognition, and I believe that I'm the best qualified person to make a difference. But what if there's somebody out there that doesn't have that name recognition, that wants to be a part of the process but can't reach people because the university doesn't allow the alumni associations to be a part of their own election process?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? It's funny that you said that, Brendan, because this is Jimmy. I was thinking the same thing. Like when you first came on, you were saying how it's such a small total of people. Prior to you running, I had no idea that I was eligible to vote and everything else. And then even when the whole thing went, when I was sitting there and I was voting, I had to do my research because they make you pick where you have to pick 3 people. Yes, you know. And while I was going through it, because I mean, obviously I know you, I play with you with teammates and so on. I had to do my research on the other 2 people that I voted for before I even did that. And it was one of those things where I was like, how do I find this information out and so on? And like you said, I couldn't go to like alumni association or anything or so on to figure it out. I was on Facebook and LinkedIn and looking at different stuff and Googling names and everything else. But it was just like you said, this is the first time. I mean, I've been out of school since 2002 was my last year, and this is the first time that I even voted or even had the knowledge that I could vote. So how do we get awareness? I mean, because right now, you know, obviously we all know each other in terms of football and so on, because I'm passing the word on to, you know, the friends that we made, not just the football players and so on. And most of them are shocked. And they're just like, hold up, I didn't know I could do this. So how do we increase that so we can actually, we all pray that you get elected and so on, but how do we do that so we can actually have a bigger impact on our board going forward so we can have change?
Well, I think that it starts with like the grassroots movements that we're doing now. Thanks, Jim, for all your support. I really appreciate it. Thanks for taking up 2 blockers and helping me be All-American, too.
I like that.
It starts with the grassroots movement. So we're like right now we're out on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, IG. We will have volunteers out at Blue White, you know, wearing our shirts, you know, saying that like vote, be a part of the process, and just try. So once you voted and once you're on the roll, you receive a ballot every year. So you should automatically receive it every year once you've enrolled. But you know, when I get on the board, if I'm fortunate to get on the board, I mean, I'm going to really push for the alumni to be involved. I mean, for the board of trustees to remove the block, you know, saying that alumni presidents can't endorse, can't engage directly the candidates.
Hey, no, I appreciate that. I wanted to just jump in too, Brandon, because, you know, kind of piggyback off of what Jimmy was saying, you know, just awareness. Now, what I guess is, because, you know, that's I'm learning too, you know, what's the timing on all of this? Like, I know you're going here and there, and then, you know, when is the final day, or what's the last day you can vote? You know, what are the timetables or frames, or what is all that? How does all that work?
Okay. So the election started on April 10th, and it lasts through May 3rd. And so this year there are 3 open positions and 4 candidates. But in past years there have been up to 85 candidates.
Yeah. Yep, I remember.
So there's 3 candidates. There's 3 positions and 4 candidates, and like there's a group called Penn Staters for Responsible Stewardship who've endorsed me and Rob Tribeck, who's the current trustee, and Al the Levy, who is a accomplished attorney as well. Those are guys that I've been working with. I haven't talked to the other person running as much, so I don't know as much about her. Those are 2 solid guys that are accomplished attorneys that I feel do a good job.
Excellent. Well, Brandon, if you could get your website information, all this, we'll push it out through our lionslive.com website and through our social media as well to get the word out there, and hopefully people will catch on as well. Okay. So we definitely want to do that for you. It's usually it's the fastest hour of college football. Here it's been the fastest hour of talking Penn State, but we do have
first time we've talked this talk. I'm liking this.
This is great.
You want to hear some more?
Oh no, this is great. Well, you know what? We have Wednesday, and we can wrap up. Wednesday we'll talk about what happened on this Saturday, and we can talk about that. And of course, Brandon, you can come back again and tell us about your experiences over the weekend. You'll probably be out at the board meeting on Saturday there with the Letterman, I'm sure. So we'll see you then. And look for being. I'll press palms with you for the first time. It'll be nice to meet you. That gets at 11 o'clock Saturday. We'll be out for that. So you got a busy weekend ahead of you here. You're going to be pressing a lot of palms and trying to get the word out. But anything we can do to try to help you. I think you got the players behind you, and we're going to be trying to do all we can to get the good word out too, because we need quality people on the board of Penn State, because we all witnessed what happened when that's not the case. So I know you're the type of guy who can turn that all around.
There's no doubt about it. There was like after the Sandusky scandal, there was a false narrative out there that Penn State had a cultural problem. Yeah. To be clear, that does not and has never had a cultural problem. And in fact, other universities want to emulate our culture. Penn State is gone for Arts Fest, for high academic standards, with real people making a positive impact on our community. And, there was a void of leadership, in the midst of that allows there to be a narrative that somehow all of Penn State were responsible for the actions of one guy, or at worst, even a few. It's not the Penn State community at all.
Well, you're right, and that touches the topic we were all going to touch on, which could take up another whole show itself. Is the movie that came out? I mean, that movie was, before it came out, people asked me when I watched it. I was like, no, but you know what? I went ahead and did, and I personally, and I said before it came out, there's nothing good that can come from this movie, and it still stands the same. Nothing good can come from that movie because it does. It's just a Hollywood.
I'm sorry, skip ahead.
Go ahead, buddy.
No, I was going to say, all it did to me was raise more questions, and it kind of like Brandon was saying, it's just people can kick more things around, and unfortunately, that's why people make movies like that, to keep raising questions about things without facts, and the way you characterize people is very interesting. I mean, I laugh, and I make a lot of jokes about Jay, because, Jay came in with you, Skip. I don't think that was Jay, unless I really don't know him the way I was like, well, wait a minute, where did they get when he was doing all these different things?
I don't know where they get that. Listen, that's not the Jay.
So much,
Yeah, that's not the. I grew up with Jay from elementary school through high school. He was my holder in high school. That's not the person that I knew that they put on that movie. I'm like, and I was like, did Jay all of a sudden change from when he was a freshman in Penn State? Or I was like, because something radically changed in that man's life. But again, it's unfortunate that they can get away with doing this type of stuff to people's lives, and I was just really disappointed. It saddened me that a network would pick up something like that and run with that.
the reality is that the network is going to do anything that they can to fulfill that will make money.
That's right.
And it's a reflection on how great Penn State actually was and is, because it got so much attention because we were looked at as the good guys, and the fact that it happened here was so sensational that a tragedy like what happened here was so sensational that the media picked up on it and they did what they could to sell. It's a fictional depiction of real events, real people. Sue, Jay, Scrap, all those people are still here. And quite frankly, I haven't seen it. I haven't watched it. I was in the Middle East when they put it out, and I've been working and campaigning. I haven't had a chance to see the movie, but what I do know is that Joe Paterno, cared so much about all of us as men and as individuals, but much more than he did as football players. We won not because of Joe. We won in spite of Joe. There were guys that should have been playing since they stepped on the field, since they came to the university. I won't name names, but there were guys that did not play because they didn't go to breakfast. They missed class. Do you know that under Joe Paterno, we had Penn State in 50 years had an 89% graduation rate. So you had an 89% graduation. Wow. If you were African American, you had a 91% chance of graduating.
Holland.
It's absurd to somehow say that that there is a cultural problem or it's a football factory. Like you guys know, Joe would read the names of guys who missed class after practice. So if you were on his watch list, he would have Don Farrell, all the guys on academic support center had people looking ready for class, and he would find and call the team up and say, Jacobs, you're a big name. You'll never play here because you missed class. Look around. Jacobs is letting all of you down because you'll never play here because he missed the class. Where in the world does that happen? And that's why you have an 89% graduation rate. It defies logic.
Well, I still remember in practice, Stefan, we'd hear it, and I'll try to do the imitation. You're never gonna play here. You're never gonna play here.
I think we all heard that. I think generationally, I think that's the thing. For all those years, for 45 years as head coaches and all that, and then when we did pass away, people needed to really see when we were over in Beaver Stadium and we were having a reception, just to see those 1,300 gentlemen over there. They were gentlemen. They were accomplished. And let me tell you something, some of those people, you didn't even look at who you are, you look at who you could become. That's what you looked at. And like myself, I didn't make All-American. I didn't go to the NFL, but I give him a lot of credit for understanding what accountability is and showing people what accountability is on my own so other people can see it. If I didn't learn anything else. So, yeah, I mean, at the time, as a young man, I had some fundamental issues and concerns. I thought I should have played near two Brandon so I could have made the NFL. But when it came down to it, man, my life was so much richer, so much larger. It prepared me for the job that I really, he told me one day, hey, when he paid for grad school for me, he said, I hope you do something with this. I hope you take it. I hope you do something. I hope you make something. Right now, it's insulted. But I understand when he's saying that. And it still is beside the point of a lot of things people can say what they want. We do realize, too, we'll say in higher education, we are in a different world. That's the truth. So people are taking stuff, I would say, in the present day world and trying to apply it 30 years ago, when we didn't have even the present day view or any of those other things. So, yeah, no excuses, no anything else. But people just, like you said, they took things and try to say there's a culture and rush to that type of judgment of all the other judgments. But when I can see another guy who's graduated and people who are on the sideline and what you become and what it was that we did to help increase the value of Penn State University, to have that type of graduation rates and all those things that I just mentioned is only the beginning.
And we should have an ID break, right?
Well, yeah, we're actually about 1 minute away from that. Good call, Jimmy. I was just getting prepared for that, actually. Good call.
Jimmy, if I can jump in real quick, before we go to ID, being a knucklehead in New York, I had Coach Paterno come to my home, and he actually told me that I need to let go of my ways. He come to Penn State and conform to the program. He told me he had more doctors, lawyers, brain surgeons than he did, NFL players. So I actually came in thinking that I was going to go play a couple of years and turn pro. It wasn't until I got there to the program and had to buy into what Coach Paterno was saying. He was surrounding us with like-minded individuals like Brandon and so on. I was watching those guys being a freshman out there and seeing their leadership and so on. I was like, you know what? I started thinking about life after football.
Hey, stand by 1 second, guys. Right back.
I'm 2169 for Jim's Italian Cuisine.
News Talk 970 WBLF Bellefonte State College and all new at 106.3 FM W292 EC Altoona Bellefonte State College WBLF AM and FM. Depend on it.
Hope between the U.S.
All right, we're back here on Lines Live, folks. Thanks for sticking with us through that ID break there. You're listening to Jimmy Kennedy and the Brandon Short, Yakovia's role. Big dude, Stephen Davis. My name's Skip Trobus here on Lines Live, and we're talking academics here at Penn State. And, of course, all of us here part of a brotherhood of the Penn State football program in the past in our lives, different generations of football, but we were cultured the same is a good way to put it. Is that fair enough, guys?
I don't think so.
Yeah, people complain about the culture here. Well, I think we were cultured properly. But, yeah, it's definitely a different.
But you know what it is? Even though it was cultured properly, it prepared us for life. The stuff that I've learned in Penn State in my short amount of time being there, I was there for 5 years, just given the impact that it had on my life. The stuff that I've learned at Penn State, I'm actually passing on to my boys. I'm passing on to my kids. It's like the other day I had an eye doctor appointment, and it was an accident, and I showed up 5 minutes late. Literally, it probably was more like 3 minutes late, but it was killing me. I was in a car, and it was like, because I know I left out 20 minutes ahead of time and so on, and it bothered me, and I was thinking, like, man, you know what? Coach Paterno will be so upset with me right now. Because it wasn't room for excuses and so on like that. You had to plan life a certain way, and it becomes regimented and so on. And I remember when I turned pro, it was like adjusting to different coaches and so on. It was just like everyone was like, oh, how did you play for Coughlin and so on? It's just like Coughlin is easy compared to Coach Paterno. You understand? But it's just the impact, just because when a person, they have the saying, if you teach a man, if you teach a man to fish, he'll be able to eat for the rest of his life versus giving him a fish. I think in that sense, Coach Paterno and the great coaches, but we're speaking of Coach Paterno in the Penn State way, they actually taught you how to fish. They taught you how to be a man. There's a saying of being a man's man, and I used to love when Coach Paterno said that to me. He's like, you're a man's man. Like, you believe in yourself. You go out there, you do things the right way. I know what I'm going to get from you, and so on. There was a like you said, Brandon, just when you turned pro, they said, you didn't have to give a background. He's a Penn Stater. He's a smart guy. He's going to try hard. He's going to give you his best. He's a Penn Stater. It was like a standard. And just like you said, like, I refuse to watch the movie. I refuse to support anything that bashes our program, especially from people who don't even know anything about our program. I refuse to even entertain that stuff. So it's just, from my position, I just want to say that, I'm proud to be a Penn State. I'm proud to be around all you guys. So I'm proud to know all you guys. It was the honor to take up two blocks for you, Brandon. I think you stole a few of my tackles. The 43 and 73 was getting mixed up. You know what I'm saying? I went back. I went back and looked at some film, man. That 43 and that 73 was always on the file. But man, it's just. I love what you're doing here. Like you said, I love what you're doing. I love the fact that you're doing your thing, and you're actually trying to go in there to make a change. If there's anyone that I would have voted for, and I'm definitely ecstatic that there's you that I voted for. So, I'm looking forward to seeing some changes, so on, and being a part of, the future and seeing what you gonna bring to the table. Because I know it's not like you. Because I know you. I know it's not going to just, hey, okay, he's still the seat, and change isn't going to come. He's just going to be a figurehead. I know you're going to do everything in your power to inform us of the changes and make the changes that's necessary. So good luck to you, man. Thanks a lot, JK. I really appreciate it, man.
Hey, Brandon, I have one quick question for you. I know you're an economist and I have a financial background. I'm going to give you a quote from a professor and to see if you can name who that is. He's pretty famous. And the quote is this. It's from what he wrote. It's the title of his book is All It Takes Is Guts. And his quote is, "But let me offer you my definition of social justice. I keep what I earn and you keep what you earn. Do you disagree? Do you disagree? Well, then tell me how much of what I earn belongs to you and why." Can you name who that author is? He's on the radio every now and again, too. By the way, I'll give you a hint. He's black by popular demand. Do you know who that is?
I have no idea.
Walter E. Williams. And if you ever hear him on radio, man, or catch him his lectures online, this guy is awesome. You got to check him out. Walter E. Williams. He's definitely excellent. So I wasn't sure if that was Dan the fan there who was calling in or if he just hung up again, but I was trying to get him on here quick because I know he had an announcement quick for us, but we'll see if we can swing him in here yet before the
I guess we got two people there.
Oh no, he's in. Dan, are you there? Dan, I'm not catching it. He sent me a message, said I'm in. So I think we just lost him.
He's mad about the sub he didn't get in for getting the tips right.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Hey, who all do I owe this weekend? Who's going to be here? I owe somebody. Oh, actually, he just sent me.
Big dude. Come on, Big dude won it last year, man.
You did.
Yeah, I know I won it.
Yeah. I'm gonna get you a steak dinner, buddy. So when you get up here, I'm getting you a steak dinner. So
I like it.
Yeah, I get to enjoy it with you though. So we'll eat
all good, man.
So that'll all be good. And I guess I owe Jimmy too when he gets up here. And I also I owe Yakov. No, Yakov, did I beat you this year or not?
Skip, you only beat me when you go against you only beat me when you go against Lovey, Skip.
Wow.
Hey guys,
extra win on me on that one too.
Guys, it's great being on the show. I really appreciate the opportunity to come in and talk about sort of my vision for the university and listen to your ideas, and we'll take some of those elected and go and try to make it happen. But I'm also going to go grab some dinner with the fans. But I appreciate coming on the show, and just like to encourage everybody to be a part of the process. You can go to bshort4psu.com. My website. You can request a ballot. Encourage at least 5 Penn Staters that have never voted to be a part of the process. Send them the link. Just tell it's simple. It takes only literally 2 minutes processing, and you're done. And then you have a voice.
Excellent, Brandon Short.
Yeah.
We truly wish you the best. Lord bless you and keep you. Make His face shine upon you, brother. We look forward to seeing you here this weekend, and we'll definitely be getting the word out for people to vote.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, guys. In 2 minutes, do you think we could wrap up for some football for Saturday? What do you all got to say for Saturday? Blue, white. What are you thinking?
I'm going blue.
Yeah. I'm going blue, white, stripe. No.
I'll tell you what I say. What I'm looking forward to is this kid that I keep hearing about. This Micah Parsons kid from Harrisburg. I can't wait to see this guy play. I want to find out, are we really going to bring him along and do it? Are we going to really give him a shot at starting with Mike? That would be very, very interesting. That's what I'm interested to see, how he starts, and then they're going to show you too much. And then, of course, running back. We know that Andre Robinson left, and now you have Sergeant and the rest of these folks. Where we want to have a running back. Offensive line, guys, so I can't wait to see you guys' song. I think this is probably the deepest the offensive line has been in absolute years.
Yeah.
So I can't wait. And then, that big line that came along with the Inter last year, Trevor Givens and everybody else that's there, Sharif Miller, all those other folks. I just can't wait to see just what type of team leaders they become. We're going to see all that Saturday. No, there's some other people you haven't seen, Skip. I know you brought up Sterling Jenkins. I'd like to see Sterling Jenkins get a shot. He's a good kid. 6'8", 330. You got to do something with that dude, man. Let's go.
Right. Hey, well, all I can say about the kicking game is Gilkin. You'll see in the NFL, he's crushing the ball. I saw him. He hit a 70+ yard punt on Saturday. I mean, he's crushing it. And of course, Carson, he's working hard. I saw him putting some kickoffs in the end zone. He's going to do well, and he's going to keep getting better. And look forward to catching up with him over the summer. So, kicking game, I think, is going to be where we need it to be for sure. And that. All we can say is, it should be decent weather. Although we've had snow almost every day here this week. Hopefully Saturday won't be snow for us for Blue White.
That's supposed to be nice. It's supposed to be
it is.
59 degrees and nice out there Saturday with some wind and no precipitation. And we look up, unfortunately, like I said, I really have to go to an event myself that I normally go to that has to do with the job. So I can't come, but I do plan to try to get together. And try to see what's going on, man. Hey, can't wait to meet Jimmy Kennedy, man. Never met him. That's my goal. Meet Jimmy Kennedy this year. I'll be out there.
Jimmy, you coming up this weekend?
Nope.
All right, we'll catch you over the summer, brother. That'll be good.
Yeah, I'll be there the whole month of June.
All right. Awesome. Look forward to that. And of course, Yakov, I know Yakov's going to be up here. So Cove and I'll be up here. Board meeting 11 o'clock on Saturday, and I know Yakov has things going on with his wife. Yakov, what all you got going on this weekend? Your wife's running, I think, in an event, and I think you have some other things going on yourself too, right? Or maybe he already signed off too. Well, I know he's gonna that's what he shared with me. So I'll go ahead and wrap it up here, guys. Thank you so much for all coming out, guys. It's gonna be a lot of fun again this fall. We'll catch it again here next Wednesday, and then we'll tune out again to maybe once for the summer. Jimmy gets back, bring him to the studio here, do a show with him then. But on behalf of Brandon Short, get out there, vote for him, folks. And Yakov Israel, the big dude Stephen Davis, the Grizz Jimmy Kennedy, and we missed Dan the Fan. We'll catch him next week. My name's Skip Driles. Thanks for tuning in here to Lions Live. Have a great night. If you're traveling this weekend, Lord bless you, keep you, make his face shine upon you, and we will catch you here next week. Have a good night.
Thank you.
And we'll tune you right back in here to our regularly scheduled programming here on WBLF here in State College. So have a great night, folks.
Leave Donald Trump alone. Look at that beautiful baby in the back seat of your car. It'd be terrible if something happened to her mother. So now there's a sketch. Well, the president himself retweets the sketch today and writes a sketch years later about a non-existent man, a total con job, playing the fake news media for fools.